Welcome to my channel. It's called Lunasa. In this channel, we do a deep dive into the writings of Florence Scovel Shinn. And in this video, I will talk about the role we play in manifestation. Because a lot of people will think that life happens to us. But when you understand manifestation, you will understand that life is reacting to us. Life is responding to us. Life is listening and making it happen for us and listening to our words. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches a masterclass on this in her books, especially The Game of Life and How to Play It. In her chapter on intuition, she explains the role we play in manifestation. She explains the role we play in the whole creation process. So she starts the chapter with 5 sentences that are just so powerful. She says, by the word, we start in motion unseen forces and can rebuild our body and remold our affairs. She also says, it is therefore of the utmost importance to choose the right words, and the student carefully selects the affirmation he wishes to catapult into the invisible. He knows that God is his supply, and that there is a supply for every demand, and that his spoken word releases the supply. Ask, and you shall receive. Man must make the first move. Draw nigh to God, and God will draw nigh to you. Draw close to God, and he will draw close to you. Do you notice what they all have in common? That we make that first move, and only then can God respond. We make that first move, and only then can the unseen forces of the world and the universe go to work for us. That we are the first movers, and that is incredible. Now, this is going back to Genesis 1, the first creation story, and the only creation story you should be paying attention to. Because in this story, God, the Elohim, created the heavens and the earth and the land and put on the plants and the animals and got everything ready for humans. And when he created us, when they created us, the Elohim, they said that they have given us dominion, that they have given us power, and that we have to go forth and exercise that power and subdue and be in control, that we have dominion, we have power. And this is something that Florence touches upon again and again. So, to understand how our words can start into action on unseen forces, to understand how we ask and the forces go to work to give so we can receive, to understand how our word unleashes a supply, you have to understand that we come with power, we come with dominion. It's built in from the creation itself. And it's with that power that we speak. It's with that power that we interact with all the forces. You have to believe and understand the kind of power that we naturally have in order to understand, yeah, we are the first movers. The next thing to keep in mind is that there is no battle. Florence starts her book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, with the most iconic line. She says, most people consider life to be a battle, but it's not a battle, it's a game. It's a game that can only be played successfully once you understand the spiritual law. So, this is what's going on for creation and for manifestation. You ask and you shall receive. You make the first move. You draw close to God, God will draw close to you. By your word, you start into motion unseen forces. Do you know all you got to do is say something? Say very powerful words, or say words in a powerful way, or understand the power of your words. That is what starts everything. You don't have to fight. You don't have to battle. It's not you versus someone else. No one has what you want and you gotta take it from them. You don't have to go out there on this journey to go on a quest to get it. You none of that stuff. You just speak your words and things happen as a result. So there is no battle. And that's why we can stop treating life as a battle. It's about a game. We have to be very thoughtful about the words we're speaking because that is what actually matters. It's not about the other person, it's about us. And I always love to share this story about people who come to Florence, like a group of women came to Florence and they said, Florence, change your husbands, change your brothers, because you think the situation in life it'd be hard and rough and frustrating, that it's about the other person. You gotta fight them, change them, do something about them. But actually, it's not. Florence always says, no, I will not speak the word to change your husband or your brothers. I will speak the word to change you. And when you change, then you'll notice that your husbands and your brothers will change as well. So it's not about other people, it's not about situations, it's not about environmental things, it's about you and working with yourself, working with your words, and then noticing what happens. And it goes back to what Florence says about the game, that we have to play it strategically. Once you understand the rules of the games and the strategy for it, then you can start to be a good player in the game of life. And this strategy is so clear once you know how it is. We make the first move. You ask and you shall receive. Do you get it? You give. You're giving. You ask. You speak the word. You make the first move. You are giving something to the universe to work with. You're giving something to God to work with. And then from there, things can happen. Florence speaks highly of the whole point of giving and receiving, but she says you must start with the giving and then you can receive. So, what's built into all of this power and dominion isn't control over things per se, it's the fact that you start something, you give something, you put something out there, and then from there you can start to receive. So, if you're not giving, there's nothing to receive. So, you can think of manifestation as not popping things into existence, but starting the process of giving and making that first move, and then watch as things come to you. To understand the power even more, because you really need to be convinced about this kind of power that we have to go up there with God and to be a part of the process. The divine order is that we start and God can work. Like it's actually in the Bible even more. In the Old Testament in Isaiah, God actually says, concerning the works of my hands, you command me. And it's something Florence picks up on and she quotes in her book too. So I'll say it again. Concerning the works of my hands, you command me. So God, who can create the heavens and the earth, God who can create humans, God who can create the most delicate of flowers or the biggest of stars, concerning the works of those hands of God, you are commanding him. And he says that. So it's an extraordinary passage that to let you know that the power of God goes to work for you, right? The power of God is there. It's extraordinary and it goes to work for you. You set it in motion. You ask, you make that first move, you draw close to God, and then that power can go to work for you. So, concerning the works of my hands, you command me. Quote from God. And in the New Testament, we have Jesus. You know, a lot of people love him, a lot of people pray to him, a lot of people think he's so powerful, a lot of people think that he is God. I've always been struck that Jesus has said in John that we should be able to do this too. We should be able to have the power to do what he does too. You know, we are not in the audience looking at Jesus saying, oh my God, he is amazing. I want to follow him. I want to serve him. No, that's not Jesus's point. Jesus's point was to say, you like that? You like that a lot? It's very powerful, right? you should be able to do it too. You should be able to do it too. So in my Bible, this is the daily devotional I worship Bible. It's basically the NIV, no, the New Living Translation from 2002. Like my three favorite translations are the New Living Translation, the NIV, and the King James Version. So in John 14, Jesus says, "The truth is, anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, or even greater works." So you heard from Florence that we ask, we receive, that we start into motion, unseen forces, that we make the first move, that things happen because of us. We can do amazing things. And that's right up there with Jesus saying, I did amazing things, and you should be able to do amazing things too. And why, actually? Jesus says, because when you've seen him, you've seen the Father. Isn't that a nod to Genesis 1, where we're made in the image of God? So when you see me, you see the image of God. When you look in the mirror at yourself, you see the image of God. And because we're in the image of God and the likeness of God, we take after God. So all that power that you know God to have, all of that power demonstrated in Genesis 1 to create the heavens and the earth and to separate the waters, to create dry land, to create the plants, to create the animals, the birds, the fish, to create like that, to create it all. That kind of power, we are made in that image, we are made in that likeness. We are made to take after him. We're not made to be helpless and passive and just look at life. We're made to have that kind of power and dominion too. And then Jesus says that I'm in the Father and the Father is in me. And Florence has this really great affirmation where she says, my power is God's power. My power is God's power. And I am as necessary to God as God is necessary to me. Like there is that connection. And so when you learn about the power that we have to manifest, to create, to do extraordinary things, it's tapping into what Jesus clearly said. Yes, he came to earth and did extraordinary things. Extraordinary. But now it's our turn to do extraordinary things too. The things that like we should be able to do, the things that he has done, or even greater things, even greater things. And that should be what's on our mind. That should be something that's top of mind too. So when we learn about manifesting and we learn about creation and how we can do it, we should become excited to know that truly it's quite biblical. It's in the New Testament, it's in the Old Testament, it's straight up from Genesis, the whole point of creation, that we have power and dominion, and that we are the first movers. We are the ones that set things in motion, and that is the role we play in the creative process. That's the role we play in manifestation. And then Florence spends a lot of her time teaching us how to use her words, how to speak well, how to use her words correctly, how to, like, she has a whole book actually called The Power of the Spoken Word. So she goes out of her way to teach us how to do it. So she teaches us that this is the game of life and how to play it well. And it's really cool. Life doesn't happen to us. Life responds to us, and we are that first mover. So we need to take responsibility and start living those extraordinary, amazing lives. Because as Jesus said, we should be able to do what he does and even more. So thank you for listening. In this channel, I just do a deep dive into the writings of Florence Scovel Shinn. For this, I went into the game of life and how to play it along with the Bible. If you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe. If you like this video in particular, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. And if you have a comment for me, you want to get in touch with me, you want to say something to me, leave a comment. I do see them and I do reply. So it's always fun to talk to you. So, as I say at the end of every video, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.